Jai Shri Krishna. Dear devotees, today we are moving towards Chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga of Divine and Demoniac Qualities. In this chapter, the Lord graciously tells Arjuna about divine and demoniac qualities and their results. From this chapter we can understand what a virtuous person is like and what a wicked person is like. First, we must become a good human being. Only then does the path of spiritual progress or devotion open. These qualities tell us what the foundation of our personality is. Lord Krishna, in verses 1 to 3, presents a beautiful list of divine qualities. One whom fear cannot frighten, one whom greed cannot lure. Wise is he whose mind is pure, calm is he, with no trace of anger. He studies the Vedas, he gives charity and practices self-control, he forgives the faults of others. He knows that compassion is the root of dharma, he carries the spirit of sacrifice and austerity. He is free from the habit of slandering others, not restless, modest in nature, non-violent, humble in stature, harbors no malice towards anyone, keeps his appearance pure and clean, radiant in strength, firm in patience, understands the pain of everyone, whose simplicity never fades, who has no traces of pride. Such flowers' fragrance pleases me. These alone bring the devotee near me. In this way the Lord described all the divine qualities. A tender heart in which there is no malice for anyone, whose tendency is spiritual, who is sensitive to others' sorrows, but patient in his own, such a heart the Lord calls the dwelling of divine qualities. After describing the qualities of a divine-natured person, in verse 4, the Lord describes the demoniac nature. Hypocrisy, arrogance, anger, pride, harshness, ignorance, all these are demoniac qualities. These qualities drag us down. They disturb our life and bind us in delusion. In verse 5, the Lord says a very sweet thing. He explains that divine qualities lead to liberation, and demoniac qualities lead to bondage. Then he says, "But dear Arjuna, do not worry, because you are filled only with divine qualities." The Lord gives knowledge of right and wrong, and also supports his devotees who walk on the right path. He is seen fulfilling at once the roles of Guru, Lord, and friend. This nature of his is a great support in the lives of devotees. And in verse 6, the Lord firmly declares, "In this world from the beginning, there have always been both kinds of people. I have already described divine qualities in detail. Now, O Arjuna, listen to the characteristics of the demoniac." Further, the Lord will explain how demoniac people think, how their mind works, what they speak, and what emotions drive their actions. What benefit do we get by hearing this? There are two benefits. First, if ever we see such tendencies in ourselves, we can correct them. And second, we can save ourselves from the company of such people. In verses 7 to 12, the Lord says, "People of demoniac nature do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They have neither purity nor truth nor good conduct." That means their life has no stable moral compass. Both their mind and actions are disordered. People of demoniac nature say, "This world is without foundation, false, and born only of desire." That means their outlook is materialistic, in which life is seen only as a means for sense enjoyment. Because of this materialistic view, they do not accept the eternal nature of the soul. Their actions become destructive both for themselves and for others. They destroy even the values of humanity. These demoniac people are dissatisfied, deceitful, and arrogant. They fall into a net of unending desires from which they can never escape. For this reason, they remain troubled by anxieties until death. Caught in hoarding and enjoyment, they think that this hoarding and enjoyment is the greatest happiness of life. And for hoarding, they collect wealth by wrong means. Absorbed in dreams of enjoyment, such people take shelter only of lust and anger. In verses 13 to 15, the Lord describes their false dreams and castles in the air. Such demoniac people think, "I have so many possessions. I will enjoy so much pleasure from them. I have so much wealth. Tomorrow it will grow even more. I have killed these enemies of mine. The rest I will also destroy. There is none as rich as I, none as happy, none as strong as I, none as accomplished as I. I have so many relatives, so many stand behind me. There is none else as great and clever as I." In verses 16 and 17, the Lord tells the result of such demoniac thinking. Deluded in every way, immersed in indulgence, these people fall again and again into terrible hells. Thinking themselves highly honored, intoxicated with wealth and status, they sometimes perform sacrifices and charity for show, but all this is only their vanity. In verses 18 to 20, the Lord tells about the greatest sin born of this thinking and its punishment. Through pride, lust, and anger, these people even bear hatred towards the Lord who resides in their own and others' hearts. Through cruelty that wounds the hearts of others, they incur great sin. Because of the suffering caused to devotees and good people, the Lord repeatedly casts them into demoniac wombs. Thus, failing to attain the Lord, they fall into even more degraded states. This is a warning. If we do not change our nature in time, downfall is certain. But hidden within this is an opportunity. If we become alert, our direction can be changed. Through discipline, surrender, and true discrimination, we can return to the divine path. In verse 21, the Lord mercifully reveals the path by which we can be freed from these demoniac qualities. Desire, anger, and greed, these three are the gates of hell. They destroy the soul. Desire, the name for uncontrolled craving. Anger, when desire is not fulfilled, the explosion that arises in the mind. Greed, when desire is fulfilled but still one is not satisfied. These three bind the mind, cover discrimination, and fill life with suffering. Therefore the Lord urges, abandon these three. Their abandonment is not some mechanical practice. It is an inner transformation, where we see the desires arising within and offer them to the Lord. In verse 22, the Lord says, the one who gives up these three gates of hell follows the path of self-welfare and attains the supreme goal. Giving up desire, anger, and greed does not make us weak. Rather, it makes us free, full of energy, and connected to God. For example, if we are not greedy, it is not that wealth will not come. It only means we will not commit sins for wealth. Then in verse 23 the Lord warns, the person who abandons the scriptures and acts by whim attains neither success nor happiness, nor the supreme goal. That means we cannot create dharma only on the basis of our desires. We must take shelter of the scriptures and the words of God. For what are the scriptures? They are the path directed by God for our welfare. And now the final verse, verse 24, where the Lord explains for our welfare. Decide what is to be done and what is not to be done according to the scriptures. This is a great guidance for life. If there is doubt or conflict, look to the scriptures and the voice of God. If some difficulty arises, read a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita with full faith, hear the Lord's words, you will surely find the path. And slowly you will realize that the Bhagavad Gita is not just a book, but the Lord Himself, in the form of His words, walking with you always as a friend. So the essence of this whole chapter is, nurture divine qualities, beware of demoniac tendencies, abandon lust, anger, greed, and walk on the path shown by the Lord will walk with you. In this lies the redemption of life. Through this, the soul will attain supreme love and supreme peace. And this is the loving message of Lord Krishna, who Himself takes our hand and leads us towards the light. Jai Shri Krishna.